What's up, you guys, and welcome to another episode of the Ask Alex Show, episode 92. Man,
Woo!
this is such an amazing ride with you guys, creating this content and answering your questions. I do really appreciate everything that you guys have done for the channel and just all of us in general. So I just really am appreciative of you guys keep coming back and watching us. But I couldn't do this show today without my two amazing co-hosts. Ian and Jeremy joins us today. So Ian and Jeremy, how are you guys doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here. We just now, for those of you guys that are watching this in real time, we just now recorded an episode of Real Debates. Always fun. Ian moderated that one, and it's always a pleasure. So we are just coming off the heels of that, and I'm looking forward to today's topics.
Yes. And Real Debate season 2 will be premiering very soon. So I'm
For
just
sure.
in the process of editing everything. So Ian, how are you doing today?
I mean, I'm doing all right. Besides some stupid guy slandering my name online, trying to misquote the things I said.
Oh yeah, the video is definitely doctored.
Oh, by the way, I wanted
Fake
to address
news.
that really quickly before we
Thank
get to
you.
these topics.
Thank you. I need a
Fake
witness, Alex.
news. Fake news.
Yo, so if you guys saw last week's episode of Ask Alex, I asked Ian, I asked him, I said, do you think that Suicide Squad is worse than Wonder Woman 84? Ian said that Suicide Squad, he believed, for his opinion, he believes Suicide Squad was better than Wonder Woman 84. Fun fact, this dude decides to put a poll on his Facebook group.
Oh,
I'm gonna let
Alex is about to make himself look stupid because he will be like, "Oh, the poll on Facebook says that we're wrong."
no.
Check the one on Instagram, bro. They are agreeing with me.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
let me.
go
I'm
ahead.
gonna let Ian.
Go
I'm
ahead,
gonna let
try and make me
Ian
look bad on
address that.
Facebook, but Instagram agrees with me, and there's more people voting on Instagram.
Hey, you put it out there, man. You can't get mad that people are just being real
I'm
with you
not mad.
afterwards.
I'm
All
not
right,
mad. I know
you
where
seem
Alex is.
mad.
I know where
You're
Alex is
yelling.
going. I know
You
where
seem
Alex
mad.
is going. Like, oh, everybody at Facebook disagrees
No,
with Ian.
I wasn't gonna say that. I was actually going to say I'm gonna let Ian tell us what the results of that poll was, because I didn't see a poll on Instagram.
No,
I
me
saw a
neither.
poll on Facebook.
Why don't you check it out and see how different it is? But I knew what you were about to do, and I was like, gonna shut it down real quick. Okay, so I put a poll on my group on Facebook, and I did one on Instagram. So the Facebook one, it's majority of them are saying that they think Suicide Squad is worse than Wonder Woman 84. So that's what Alex is trying to make me look bad about that. And but there's like what, 8 people that voted in that, maybe 9.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I have way more. That's my Facebook group. It's got like what, 80 people in it.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Now
matter.
I have almost 2,000 followers on Instagram. Majority of them agreed with me. So what does that mean? It means don't tell the whole story, Alex. This is what I'm saying.
I honest to God, I did not see the poll on Instagram, but I'm looking at Instagram right now, and
What's the
he's
percentage?
right. He's
What's
right.
the percentage?
Hold on, I'm about to pull it up right now.
Ian, dude, for every finger you point,
So he put
got 4 pointing back at
okay,
yourself,
so
bro.
Suicide Squad got 62%. Wonder Woman 84 got 34%.
oh,
So
dude, by a landslide.
It's literally about the same on the Facebook one.
It's
flipped.
essentially the same, but it's funny. If you guys are fans of ours, definitely go check that out. It's
Yes.
hilarious. But I'm interested to see what Ian and Jeremy's opinions are about these up and coming topics that we have for today's show. But if this is your very first time ever watching this show, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way we get all the notifications every time you're watching any of our videos here on Momentum Media. Hit that notification bell as well. That way you get to see all the different things that we're putting out. Also, guys, if you want your topic or question on this show, it's very easy. Just send me an email at theaskalexshow@gmail.com. That's the Ask Alex Show @gmail.com. You can submit your topic or question. It could be anything that's pop culture, movie related. It'd be more than likely to be answered on the show. They kind of dwindled throughout the Christmas break, but kind of ramped back up as we got back into it. So just send me your questions. If I don't address them on the show, I'll try to address them directly as well. So guys, let's go ahead and jump into the first topic today, which I think The first topic is actually kind of interesting for this particular topic. This question comes from a Mr. Devon, I think it's Devon or Devon Lewis. If I pronounce your first name wrong, I do apologize. And he writes, "Hey Alex, so Netflix drops a trailer showing their 2020 movie slate for their service. Are you excited for the movies that are coming to Netflix in 2021?" Thank you for your question, Devin. Yesterday, actually, I saw one of my friends share the broad trailer of these different original Netflix movies. There's a movie called Red Notice. There's with Dwayne Johnson, Ryan Reynolds, and Gal Gadot. And there's some other films that I've seen interesting that seem interesting. Personally, I think Netflix for me, now not for anyone else, but for me, Netflix is very hit or miss with their original films. So I'm excited that they're developing original content that I'm going to watch and judge when I watch. You know, I'm not going to judge it prematurely, but judge it after I watch. And I am excited for some of those movies. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I really do. I'm more excited for the actual big studios than I am for Netflix. I'm a huge advocate for like original content, stuff that we've never seen before. But like I said, Netflix has a history of putting out a lot of original things that suck. And they have a lot of original things that are good. Like The Old Guard is amazing. Project Power is amazing. There's some other I can't think of any other ones like The Irishman is amazing. That's a Netflix, ironically, it's a Netflix original. So there's certain other Netflix into movies that have come out that are great. I'm more of a fan of their TV series than I am their Netflix movies. That's just me. I'm not so sure if my panel has seen their 2020 slate trailer that they put out a couple of days ago. So I'll pass it to Jeremy. Have you seen the 2020 slate that they released? And if you have, are you excited for the new upcoming things that are coming to Netflix?
I haven't seen the sizzle reel, the actual trailer that you're mentioning, but I'm on IGN right now and I have a lot of the titles, all the titles in front of me. And Alex, I got to echo a lot of what you said, man. Ironically, about a year ago, if you asked me what my favorite streaming service is and what the one that was the most bang for the buck, I'd have said Netflix. However, that pedigree that was there with, man, what was the one with Idris Elba in it?
Are you talking about Beast of Nation?
Beast of No Nations.
Yeah,
that
Beast
was
of
one of
Nation.
their first originals, and it was amazing. And since then, as you said, Alex, they have lost that consistent quality where now if a Netflix thing comes out, it might be good, it might be trash. And I have a feeling because all of the streaming services are just pumping so much money into original content that we're going to get a lot more of that all of the streaming services quality is going to drop as their quantity and their numbers continue to grow, because it's kind of the law of averages for one thing, and for another, everybody's in a mad dash to just scoop up as much content as they can. And now we're in that crazy situation where even before Netflix puts out all this stuff, we're already just embarrassment of riches. We've got more stuff than we could ever watch. So am I excited for this one new Netflix movie that's going to come out every week throughout 2021? If I'm being honest, it kind of sounds like a chore. Kind of sounds like a lot of extra work, especially when I'm going to be trying to watch WandaVision and the new fucking 10 Star Wars movie or TV shows and all the MCU stuff, and then whatever's coming out on HBO Max. And then because I feel like HBO Max is now at the top of my list, and I feel like HBO has always put out a certain level of quality in their original programming. I don't know that Netflix is there as far as is every project that they're involved with golden, but I do know, and also to your point, Alex, they've got the best actors, at least the most marketable, well-known actors and actresses coming in for all these projects. You mentioned Gal Gadot, The Rock, Leonardo DiCaprio, Amy Adams, Ryan Reynolds. I mean, the list of actual talent attached to it in front of the camera is huge. I'm not seeing as much about the important people that make the movies good or bad, like the directors and the writers and all those things. I don't have that information in front of me, and those are typically the things that are going to get me more excited than who is leading, who's in the main vehicle for each of these different projects. So I'm always on the lookout for who's attached to it behind the scenes, and as of right now, it just looks like a lot of names that I can't put faces with, so it's hard to be super enthusiastic about it. But the history of cursing, or the history of swear words, hosted by Nicolas Cage, that just now came out on Netflix, definitely worth a watch.
Oh yeah, that's definitely worth a watch as well. It's funny. I just started that too. I started that yesterday.
It's funny.
Man, that is hilarious. But yeah, I have to agree with Jeremy. There's, it's funny. I did not. I believe Ian was the first one to have HBO Max on the panel. I recently got HBO Max solely for Wonder Woman 84, but I've been using it for like a lot of their other programming that I have not seen. And I have to say it's a tie for me. It's a tie between HBO Max and Hulu, because there's
good choice.
I binge watch a lot of stuff on Hulu. Like, so for me, I have to agree a lot of the things that he said. So Ian, did you see the sizzle reel? And if so, if you saw the reel, are you excited for any of their new original movies and programming that's coming to Netflix?
Oh yeah, I saw the reel. It got me a little excited, but I'm gonna agree and disagree with a lot of things you guys are saying. I'm gonna start with the stuff that I definitely agree with. Half of it is definitely not something that you should get excited for, because it is hit or miss. And well, I think Jeremy said something like it becomes a chore and stuff like that. I do you guys ever have people in your inboxes that say, "Hey man, I suggest this to you, or you should see this," and you want to be like, honestly, like, "Hey, I have a watch later that's like this." Like, it's gonna be a while till I get to that. Yeah. I get it all the time, and for so much content to be coming at you all at once, I don't know, it's exhausting, and I'm not looking forward to that, just because as a fan of film, I'm probably going to drop everything and do it. It's like the fat kid that won't stop eating cake. It's just like me. Like, I know I should stop, but god dang, it's here. So that's what I'm agreeing with you. I'm not feeling that. But I'm excited to see more original stuff from like the theater. I would like that, like Alex said as well. The stuff I'm going to disagree with you guys though. I don't think you guys are giving Netflix enough credit though. I agree. I agree with the stuff that you disregarded it on, like, hit or miss, but like their hits though are amazing.
Yeah, that's true.
And I feel like their hits are stuff that are better than all the other streaming platforms. I'll say
Queen's Gambit was probably the best thing of 2020.
Absolutely.
To me.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Good call.
But I was just looking at the list, how much originals I have fell in love with, like Marriage Story. Holy shit. Amazing. So I'm going to say they are still the top tier when it comes to the streaming service. I was worried when everybody started coming at once. I was like, it's over for Netflix, man. They can't compete. But boy, they put their balls on the table and they just kept going, and they make great movie quality stuff. Now, I still will agree though, it takes a while to get to that. So I'm predicting that, this every week thing, it might be a hit or miss. Like, you might get a whole week that sucks and then another week that's good. And it sucks that you got to just wait for it. But when you get there though, I do feel like it might've been worth the wait, just because of how they got things going in that studio. They know it works, but putting things out though, you might lose a lot of your quality.
I think what Netflix has done, and this has kind of been a blessing and also somewhat of a curse for them, they've oversaturated their market. So there's a lot of, and what I mean by that, like Ian said, there are so many great hits. Jeremy was the one, I believe he recommended on the recommendation, Queen's Gambit. I started watching that, I want to say about 2 weeks ago. I fell in love with it, and I'm not someone that's into that type of world, and I was just like, wow, like I just enjoyed it for the story. And there's so many great hits on Netflix.
Black Mirror is one of my favorite shows.
Black Mirror is oh my god, freaking amazing. Mindhunters, The Witcher, so many great things. But
Stranger Things.
It was kind of like I was alluded to earlier though. I said that I'm more of a fan of their TV stuff than I am their movie stuff. Because their TV stuff, they know how to, they know what they're doing and telling stories for original properties that develop on Netflix. So I'll have to agree with Ian there. But what do you guys think about this? Are you guys excited for the new slate of 2021 movies that are coming to Netflix? If you're not, just jump into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. And let's go ahead and jump into the next question. And the next question comes from our returning guest, Iris
People.
Iris
We
Peoples.
love you, Iris. Thank you for sending these amazing questions. And Miss Iris writes, "Hey, Alex. So I'm glad that Deadpool 3 will be a part of the MCU. However, how will this R-rated character gel with the other MCU characters?" Well, thank you for your question, Iris. It's funny, before we jumped on camera, I asked the guys if they seen the news that Deadpool 3 will happen at Disney under the MCU brand. And Ryan Reynolds tweeted something. He said, it's a go now. I'm just paraphrasing. It's a go now. Deadpool 3 is in effect. Now I'm looking for the people who killed Bambi's mom. I thought that was hilarious. I forgot Bambi was a Disney character. So I was just like, wow, like they're really going balls to the walls with this. To answer your question, how would it gel well? Now, I realized this, and I don't know if the guys realize this. You notice that in every MCU movie, they've never used the F word. They've never introduced the element of even really sex.
The closest thing they've done is the middle finger. Star-Lord
Exactly.
did that.
Exactly. Like they haven't done. They're very edgy in terms of. I guess they push the envelope, not necessarily very edgy, but they push the envelope. And on top of that, like I feel that Disney is expanding their reach now that they've absorbed Fox and other things. Also, let's also keep this in mind. Morbius is probably in the MCU. We don't know that yet, but it might be in the MCU. Venom might be in the MCU. And now they're introducing this whole multiverse thing with WandaVision, which comes out tomorrow. I cannot wait to watch that.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
Oh, it's tomorrow?
Well,
that's awesome.
We're recording on Wednesday. This comes out on Thursday, so it'll be out on Friday.
Nice.
I thought that was next week. Thanks.
Well, no,
awesome.
it comes out this Friday, and it's
perfect.
So that's where they're going to introduce the multiverse. And honestly, all I see really is Deadpool making a lot of jokes about how Iron Man died, how the Avengers are just a piece of crap. I feel like they're gonna replicate that scene in Deadpool 2 where he's in the school of X-Men talking shit about the X-Men, and the X-Men just shut the door. I feel like that's what's going to happen in Avengers Tower. Like I feel like it's going to be like a lot of jokes about that. Now, if you watch Deadpool 2, like he calls Cable Thanos. So he's very aware, like Deadpool, the character, is very aware of like he's not real. And he's very aware of where he is in. It's a lot of fourth wall breaking. So I see a lot of that. Now, in terms of the R rating, I feel like they're going to make Deadpool in the MCU, but part of the MCU multiverse. So he's there, but he's not going to be in the Avengers movie. I don't believe that. I don't think that for what purpose? I don't see that happening. I think when they do reboot X-Men, he'll be there, but I don't think he'll be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as we think it. Well, I don't think he'll be an Avenger. I don't think he'll be interacting with Spider-Man or any of those characters. I think he'll be more so a playful, making jokes about the characters that he's now in a universe in. So I don't know. I could be wrong. I have no inside information, but Ian, you heard this news. Are you excited about Deadpool being in the MCU, and how do you think he'll gel with the other MCU characters?
Oh, I'm excited for it. I mean, we all knew it was going to happen. If not, I thought they were going to just put the R thing on Hulu, since Disney owns Hulu and they can't put R-rated stuff on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
But they said, no, we're going to go all out. The most edgy thing I've seen in an MCU movie was like from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 when what's his name just got done having sex. He's zipping up his pants.
Star-Lord.
The guy,
not Star-Lord.
No,
not
Star-Lord's dad.
Is Yondu.
Yeah, not dad. I'm sorry, mentor Yondu.
Basically, his dad. Yeah. But yeah, that was the most edgy thing I think I've seen in an MCU movie. Like he's literally zipping his pants, and it's obviously it's a horror.
Right.
So, but no, Deadpool makes that looks like Disney stuff. So, and that's their choice to do it. I'm for it. I didn't think they would do it, but balls to them. I do think he will be probably interacting with other MCU characters. Just because we've established that these coming movies are going to be multiverse stuff. WandaVision is going to do it. Of course, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse has to do it with these other Spider-Man. And it's literally in the title of Doctor Strange, multiverse. So I do think, yes, that Deadpool that we know is probably going to be the same one, but he might be out of his element, hopefully. And he might make this Tony Stark's joke. Because I just don't want to see a whole movie with him just making jokes and acknowledging the universe he's in and not talking to these other characters. I think that would be a waste of a movie. So I think it'd be smart for them to bring other ones to interact with him. Don't put him like on the side as the co-cast, though. I want to see just literally Ryan Reynolds doing it the whole time. But I am excited to see him in this universe. And I'm glad that they kept Ryan Reynolds. I'm glad there was no different casting and stuff like that. Been waiting for this moment all my life. Deadpool in the MCU. Let's do it.
Yeah. And by the way, I had just had a thought. I think what they'll do is they'll do the rated R Deadpool, kind of like what Ian and I had said earlier. But I think if they're going to incorporate him into the Avengers, every F word that he says will get bleeped out in the theater, and or bleeped out in the movie, and it'll be like more of a comic book relief, and we won't see like the raunchiness and the violence that we see in Deadpool. I can almost guarantee we will not see that in any other Avengers movie.
It's gonna be
even if he's in it. Like they will sit like, and I see Deadpool saying, I'm about to do this great action scene, but fucking Disney's about to bleep all this blood and shit. Now I can't really do it, and now I have to play with Iron Man and all these other people. I can see that happening. But Jeremy, what do you think about Deadpool being in the MCU, and how do you think he'll gel well with the other characters?
I think both of y'all make really interesting points, and I'm kind of in the middle. I kind of have two different minds about it, and it sort of is a little bit of what each of you are saying. I don't want Deadpool to be a secondary character. In his own movie, he won't be. How he's going to gel into the MCU, it's going to be a very difficult balance to pull. I agree with what Ian's saying. You don't want to completely sideline him. I agree with what you said as well. If they're going to use him in the MCU movies, there's going to have to be some sort of way of getting around the fact that there's such a cognitive dissonance. In a way, it would be like trying to squeeze, and this is the opposite, but similar, but different, trying to squeeze Christopher Nolan's Batman into Justice League. Like, how do you mold these two worlds together? And that's what I'm very, very curious to see. Alex, as you mentioned, the multiverse thing, I think that gives a great workaround. And as I've said before, it gives the writers the ability to do anything they want. The chains are off. They have no limitations, no restrictions as far as what kind of stories they can tell. I think what you said is right. They're going to have to bleep the profanity. But there's no way that Deadpool is going to be even able to imply that he's impaling people with his swords. Like, they're not even going to be able to imply that, because that changes what's fundamentally family films. Y'all both mentioned edgy stuff from Marvel Cinematic Universe. And in the first two Iron Man movies, Tony is dealing with substance abuse. I mean, he's an alcoholic. He's a womanizer. There's a couple of good, kind of dirty jokes in there. And then the first Guardians as well, Star-Lord comes up out of the bottom of the Milano, and he'd been banging the like yellow alien chick down underneath. So there's a little bit of sexual humor, but like you said, Ian, compared to what we see in the very opening of Deadpool, it's like Disneyland. So it's going to be weird, man. I guess my whole concern, and if you guys have watched Ask Alex or any of my content for a period of time, you probably know I'm a little bit apprehensive about having the X-Men exist in the MCU because of similarities, differences, and just how vast either of their respective worlds are. There's so much going on, so many characters. And you fold in Spider-Man, and then we fold in the Fantastic Four, and we've got the Deadpool, and then we've got the, it's a lot, and a big meter for whether or not I'm going to be into this is coming out in a couple days. Like Alex said, I'm going to watch WandaVision. I'm going to see how they treat the multiverse there, and I'm going to decide moving forward if that's something that I'm on board with. That said, Marvel has an incredible track record. They've never really done, MCU since 2008 has never really done anything bad. They've done things that are less good. They've never done anything bad. I hate when people are like, Captain Marvel is a F movie, and it's like, is it really, or is it just not as good as the other MCU movies? Like, it's all right. It ain't great,
It's not the worst movie ever.
It's not
No,
It's definitely better than that other one from the other studio with a woman.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. I don't know, man. We'll see how it goes. I'm happy that Ryan Reynolds is continuing to carry the mantle for Deadpool. I think he's the right actor for the job. I don't know how y'all feel about it, but Deadpool can be a little grating in his jokes and his sense of humor every once in a while. So I wonder if they're going to play that up to where the rest of the Avengers are just like, this guy, or if he's going to be yet another snarky, clever, quippy guy that gets stuffed in with all these other quippy, smartass guys. Like, you got to admit, a lot of the characters in the MCU are kind of Tony Stark. You know what I mean? Like, varying degrees of Tony Stark.
Well, one positive I'm looking forward to, though, I feel like Disney does a very good job at writing, and I love first Deadpool's writing. Second Deadpool writing was kind of sloppy as hell. I mean,
I agree with you.
It was, so I feel like they are the masters of like doing a good story. Let's take away our thoughts of wanting to see sex and drugs and alcohol and cursing and stuff like that, all the R-rated stuff. We want a good movie at the end of the day.
That's right.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the story that Disney's going to bring upon Deadpool.
Yeah, I agree with you there too. They have always had good writers. I don't know where they pluck them all from, but they have a really good writers room going on where everything's very thought out. It's all very methodical. It all serves a greater narrative, and they really haven't dropped the ball in terms of that.
For sure.
Yeah, I agree. Like, great writers room. And Ian's right. If you remove all the vulgar rated R stuff, we just want a good movie. And to Jeremy's point, I do agree with him. It is a lot to think about. And when you're talking about the multiverse is very convoluted. So I can't really judge what the multiverse of the MCU is going to be like until WandaVision, which comes out in a couple days, and I am very interested to see that. And I'm also interested to see where they're going to take all these other different characters. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think about Deadpool being in the MCU? I think that this is going to be very weird and also cool to see at the same time. Just jump into your comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Side note, I can just see it right now from the studio that killed Iron Man is bringing you Deadpool 3.
Yes.
That would be hilarious. Oh my God. Wow. I can just see that headline right now. But let's go ahead and jump into the final question of today. And the final question comes from a Keith Davis. And he writes, "Hey, Alex, with Disney Plus announcing a lot of Star Wars content, do you think the future of Star Wars will be on Disney Plus instead of the theaters?" Well, thank you for your question, Keith. And this is a very interesting question because I've never really addressed that portion of it. As you guys know, I had a Mandalorian after show. I've also said that I am not a huge Star Wars fan in comparison to many other Star Wars fans. I'm like the general Star Wars fan. I don't dive into the lore as many people do. But I have to say, if I'm being 100% honest, and I've only had 2 examples of this for Disney Plus, I'm more excited about what's coming out on Disney Plus than I am any Star Wars property that's coming out in theaters. Solely because there's only 3 films that they put out under Disney that I was excited about: Force Awakens, Rogue One, and The Last Jedi. That's it. And then they put out Solo. Solo's okay. It's not, I wouldn't call it trash, but it's okay. Rise of Skywalker, that's just a hopping piece of shit. And when they wrap up that I guess the Skywalker trilogy or whatever you want to call it, they leave it very ambiguous. We don't know what Rey's going to do. Now, I will say I am excited for Patty Jenkins' movie Rogue Squadron, but at the same time, after watching Wonder Woman 84, I hope she has some additional writers with her.
Yeah.
Because she did write Wonder Woman 84. Wonder Woman 84, like I said, is okay, but God, I hope she does not mess this up. But I have to say, I am very excited for the Ahsoka Tano series. I'm excited for the Bad Batch. I'm excited for the not the Lando series that's coming with potentially Childish Gambino. I mean, I have to say, as just a fan of content, Star Wars has a very bright future, I believe, on Disney Plus. Now that's a lot to say given the fact we've only had 2 examples of that, which is one show, Mandalorian season 1 and season 2. And like I said, I've had more fun watching that than any other Star Wars film that's come out in recent time under Disney. Now, I don't know if my panelists have different opinions about this. I'm sure they probably do, but I will say this: as a general fan, I won't say that Star Wars will leave the theaters at all, but I will say we'll see more content of Star Wars on Disney Plus than the theaters. I believe. I could be wrong. Before I pass it down, I mean, since I passed it down to Ian, the last topic, I'm going to pass it to Jeremy. So, Jeremy, what do you think about this, man? Do you think that Star Wars' future is more so Disney Plus and streaming than do you think the theaters?
First of all, there was not a point in the past, I guess, 5 years, whenever Force Awakens opened up, there was never a time that I stopped and was like, you know what we need? More Star Wars. This has not been a problem of not having enough Star Wars. It's that the Star Wars that we've got haven't all knocked it out of the park. There's we talk about hit or miss with anything, and I feel like there's a lot of inconsistency in tone, and from movie to movie they vary wildly in quality. I thought The Force Awakens was wonderful. The Last Jedi, awesome. Rogue One, awesome. The other ones, the other 2 or 3, they didn't hit for me. That said, The Mandalorian's awesome. It's a very easy watch. And I say that as not a disparaging thing. It's like sometimes you just want to casually watch something that's not super heavy or super demanding intellectually, or like, it's just a fun watch. The special effects and the production value are amazing. But to my point that I just now touched on with the MCU, and with Netflix, it's just a lot. I got to split my time up between all of these things. What Disney wants, and understandably so, they don't want me to leave their streaming service, but there's more to me than Disney. No matter what they want to think, no matter what they want to believe, there's more to me than just Disney. And that's one thing that I struggle with, is like, I don't want them all to be great, because that's like 5 hours out of my week, dude. If every single one of them is awesome, then I've got to watch all these things. And if they're all interconnected, oh my God, we're back to that thing of it being homework. It's like I shouldn't have to watch everything to be able to understand anything. I don't necessarily like that. One of the big things about Mandalorian, and then I'll let Ian take over, but one of the big things about Mandalorian is when it started, we all watched Collider and Schmozno and Screen Junk, all of the like Hollywood-based movie pundit kind of stuff. And I remember Christian Harloff, huge Star Wars fan, big titty baby as well. I remember him doing a discussion about The Mandalorian and saying like what he was the most excited about was no lightsabers, no Jedis, just a Western in space. Well, that lasted all of about 5 episodes before we jumped right back into good old Star Wars. And it's fine because people like Star Wars. I personally am just a little bit exhausted about it. Ever since the beginning, I was like, I want Star Wars to feel like an event. So that said, is the future of Star Wars on streaming, or is the future of Star Wars in theaters? I wish it were in theaters. I wish it were this thing, this communal thing that we could all go and watch it together and be like, wow, Star Wars, what a great epic event thing. But if the future is television shows on Disney Plus, then it's not that anymore. It's not an event. It's just a day-to-day normalized, regular old basic thing. And I'm super stoked for Ahsoka. And there's other projects in there. Rogue Squadron, like you said, any of these individually, I would be super stoked for. All of them together seems a little anticlimactic, but that's my take on it.
Oh, okay. Well, real quick, I just want to address that he's right. They are interconnected. I think the Book of Boba Fett and Ahsoka and all these different live action shows, they're going to connect with one another to do like kind of like the Netflix Defenders.
Oh,
In a
okay.
sense, they're going to do an event like that. That was teased at the Disney earnings call that happened a few weeks or about last month. So yeah, so Ian is our is a big Star Wars fan in terms of the Star Wars content. Do you think that the future of Star Wars is Disney Plus or in theaters?
I'm gonna say I think the future is honestly the streaming service. It was hit or miss in the theaters, and I agree with Jeremy saying I would love it to be an event. You know how when you hear that first opening crawl, that da 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 da, it makes your heart skip a beat. It should be like that. You know, that's how it is kind of with the MCU movies. It's an event for us. It's it's kind of like your birthday. It's a great time.
Yes.
But I think I would probably prefer it now in the on the streaming services because it's getting older and we got to get with the times. And I don't think that we're gonna continue that after the Rise of Skywalker. That making my heart skip a beat is not there anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm here to distance myself from the Skywalkers, but still remain in this universe. Because this universe is so big, but we've not even began to scratch the surface until now. Because all I knew was the Empire and the Rebellion. That's all I ever knew. I don't know much about the Mandalorian. I don't know much about the black species that Lando Calrissian is. I'm trying to figure it all out, and I'm glad that Disney Plus is expanding on this universe, and I can't wait to see. And I would prefer that way. Now having it like Netflix all at once at me, I want to have it take a break and just digest it. But I am excited to see more of this universe, and I'm glad they're doing it.
By the way, whatever species Lando. So I guess
Check out my black Star Wars characters coolest in the galaxy video.
Yes.
I guess Sam Jackson falls into that category. So
Yeah.
does John Boyega's character. I mean, wow, that's the first time I've heard that. That's hilarious. But yeah, I agree. I agree that it can get all encompassing. It can be kind of overcrowding. But I have to say, with Disney Plus, I'm willing to make that exception because Disney Plus, aside from Mandalorian, has nothing.
That's a good point.
It has nothing. So, although, and it's funny, I've said last year, beginning of last year, you give Disney Plus 5 years. They're in this is their going into their second year. They'll probably surpass Netflix. Right now they have 86.5 million subscribers. I'll say this: if Boba Fett, Ahsoka, WandaVision, and all these other Marvel stuff and Star Wars stuff, content that Netflix does not have and other streaming services don't have, I think it's possible. If it's good, it could be probably the biggest streaming service on the planet because of that. And the one thing they have going for it is Star Wars. But to my guys' points, yes, to have that overcrowdedness, it's kind of crazy. It's not an event anymore after Rise of Skywalker. Rise of Skywalker kind of killed that. But like I said earlier, Disney Plus doesn't really have anything. Like, if it wasn't for WandaVision or Mandalorian, I would cancel because you sold me on one show. I saw one show and I had to wait a year later to see the second season.
Yep. So
I mean, so that's my thing on it. And I I would love to see what they got going, but if it's great, I can't wait to see it. But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think that the Star Wars will be the future on Disney Plus, or will you think it will remain in theaters? Just jump into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. And thank you guys so much for watching this amazing episode of the Ask Alex Show. Please like, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel where we get all the updates every time I'm releasing a video here on our channel. Real quick, guys, Jeremy, where can we find you on social media?
Thank you for the awesome questions week after week, Iris. They always got good ones, food for thought, and great discussions come out of them. Check me out at Movies Are Terrible on YouTube and Jeremy B. Terrible on Twitter and Instagram.
Awesome. And where can we find Ian and his polls on Facebook and Instagram? Where can we find you on social media?
You can find me at I_controversy on YouTube. Oh, sorry. I_controversy at Instagram and Twitter, and youtube.com/thecontroversy.
Awesome. And I would encourage everyone, like we stated at the beginning of the show, go check out those polls. If you are fans of all of ours, check out those polls. And they're both, like, he's right. One poll says one thing on Instagram, Facebook says another. So it's a very intriguing conversation. That actually might be a real debates match we might do. That would be dope. I don't know.
That might be dope.
That would actually be dope. Do you want to do that, Ian?
I will destroy him.
Oh, okay. So there it is. I got Woman 84, and he has Suicide Squad. It's settled. Let's do it. I can't wait to do this. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. And as always, you have a great day.